Hello world and welcome to Tinkering Loyalty. Today we are doing the follow-up video on how to define your loyalty currency. We ended last video probably with a joke. It doesn't matter how many coins you are going to give. So yes, you can give 1 million points for them to return, but please stop doing that. Today we are going to discuss how to define your currency value. So if you are giving me 1 million points, you are giving me 1 million nothing. Or even if you are giving me €1 1 point, how much are you actually giving me? This is what we are going to discuss today. To start this discussion, we need to ask this question. Why points are so common? Do you know? Today I decided to go back to our Decathlon review, so we will use them as our example today to understand a bit more about how that program works. So their main engine is, for each euro that you spend here, you will get 1 point. There are other ways for you to accumulate points, but I call it the main engine because this is the focus, like buy more from us to get those points. When we look at the rewards catalog, I was looking for how can I use those points to redeem something at Decathlon. And to do that, you need to accumulate 400 points to get a €6 discount in your next purchase. So I call this a 66-to-1 program. What is a 66-to-1 program? Basically, it means that you need to buy 66 basketballs in order for them to give you one for free. Are you going to do that? Of course not. And that's the focus of today's video. So we are now going to answer why points are so common, and then we are going to start the discussion on how to define your currency value. Points are so common because they expand the narrative. No one's going to buy 66 basketballs, but they will buy basketballs, footballs, tennis balls, whatever balls. They're going to buy clothes. This cloth is from Decathlon. They're going to buy mountain bikes or whatever. So yes, they can buy whatever they want and accumulate those points in order to get the €6 rewards. Let's move now the focus to how to define your currency value. So 66-to-1 looks like very shitty, right? But actually, this is very common. 66-to-1 is the same thing as 1.5% cashback. You get this everywhere. Fnac, for instance, is always giving you 1% cashback on card and whatever. So yes, it's very common to offer 1% cashback. The difference here is you can't use that until you have accumulated the 400 points, and that's the thing that needed to be changed. But for them to decide on having a 1.5% cashback disguised in points and things like that, they have two main paths to get to that math. First, looking at a fixed budget. So someone said, you from marketing, you have this amount of money and do strategies to enhance purchase. And they decided to do this program and their math ended up with 1.5%. And I'll show how to get that math. But the best approach is always to go in your purchase history. This could be a game changer here to make this program a bit more relevant. So let's take a look at this top of the iceberg. I've separated those investments in this program in two categories, and that's how the business do it as well. They have the CAPEX investments. The CAPEX are the capital investments. So basically it's something that they are investing the money, and with this investment, their brand will grow. It can be translated into equity for the brand. And the other, the OPEX, the operational expenses, this is like costs that we have to keep this running. So in the CAPEX category, we have the strategies. Guys like me, we are an investment to make sure your program is fine-tuned, the best approaches and things like that. But also you have the platform. So in order for you to have this program running, you need to have some kind of platform to calculate the points, have all the triggers with the members and things like that. And also the branding. please stop starting programs saying this is loyalty. Our brand's name, loyalty. And club, any brand, is not necessarily a good branding name. In the OPEX, we will have the management and operational costs to maintain this, the team that we need, the suppliers that we need. We will have the cost to create messages, produce this content and send it to you. These all have costs that need to be accounted for. We need always to set aside money for strategic initiatives. So you have holidays like Black Friday or Father's Day or whatever. And you need to do additional incentives through those periods. So always set aside some budget for those strategic initiatives that you need to have along the year. And then you have the rest of the money allocated into the points or whatever your initiative is, the cashbacks, the punch cards, whatever. In order for them to arrive to that 1.5%, they had also all those costs and investments to take care of. So when you think that 1.5% is a bit too low, let's consider that this brand doesn't sell their products for a lot of money. Like they have fair price for fair product. So they don't have much margin to give you more than 1.5%. And I added to this slide, like the trick someone taught me 15 years ago saying, in order for brands to have a balanced program, they need to have a 70 to 30 ratio, which means that at least 70% of the money they are going to invest needs to be to the users, needs to be related to the points. So if that's the math that we have here for Decathlon, it means that this program costs around 2.2% of their total revenue. This is not necessarily true anymore. 15 years ago, we didn't have as many platforms as we have now. The cost of producing things were way higher than it is today. But nowadays, the amount of customers we have is way bigger. So this is just a small reference that I could share you. If you don't know how to do this math, if you don't find an answer, this would be the industry benchmark. 70% needs to be allocated to giving back to the users and 30% needs to be the cost, the total cost to make this happen, okay? So to wrap up, 1.5% is not necessarily a bad return. Points are the most common because they are perceived as money, and to not make us only buy 66 basketballs to buy one. Let us buy whatever we need to buy and then exchange. So it makes sense. And lastly, please, let's look at revenue history, and I'm going to show in the next video how to do that by revenue history to make sure that we are not shooting our foot when we launch an initiative like this, okay? Obrigado.